I think we already got a good group here. Maybe we can go ahead and start. I'm I'm Anthony. I'm with the marketing team, and I'm really excited to be here to go and kick off the discussion for today for the community call. Just want to highlight that I am also recording this as well, so hopefully we can check back and play it a little bit later, or you can share it with some of your friends. So on the call today, I have two of our colleagues, Lewis, project manager at BrainBot, and Loring, the head of commercial, who's going to go and share a little bit about what we've been cooking up here at BrainBot and Shutter over the last 2 weeks since we last had our conversation. And then we have a special guest from Blockful, which I went and looked online trying to figure out how to pronounce the name. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but is it Zeugh? Is that it?
I normally go by Zug.
Zug.
But yeah,
Okay.
so
I wasn't certain if you're gonna use like the specific name or your real name. So, but I'm really excited that you're here today to go and give a little bit of a presentation of what we have going over at with Blockful for the staking. So we're really excited to hear a little bit more. Um, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Lauren to give a quick overview of Shutter. And then maybe we can get a quick introduction over from Blockful as well.
Are we gonna do a quick round of intros just so people know who we are?
Yeah, you can give
Yes,
a.
we are. Hi guys, I'm Loring. I work on commercial aspects with BrainBot, which is one of the core technical contributors to Shutter and the Shutter network. My background is in alternative finance mechanisms, and I worked a lot in Southeast Asia for about 10 years, basically helping people get banked for the first time. I joined crypto in the spring of 2021, and ever since then, I have been with BrainBot, working on a variety of different projects, including under collateralized lending, bridging, and now my favorite project, Shutter. And I help out on a variety of aspects ranging from fundraising to go-to-market strategy to marketing to um, revenue models to DAO management. Um, yeah, so kind of a jack of all trades. Um, oh, and coming full circle, I no longer say bank the unbanked. I now say unbank the unbanked. Handing it over to Lewis.
Um, yep, great. I think it's better to unbank the unbanked. I'm Luis. I'm a product manager for Shutter Network at BrainBot as well, and I'll be running you today through especially some updates on the Gnosis Chain mainnet launch and our analytics efforts there as well.
Okay, great. And then let's get our special guest. Would you mind going and just giving a quick overview of yourself and kind of like what you've been working on lately?
yes, sure. Well, I'm Zug. I'm let's say a governance or coordination nerd. Been for a few years now playing around DAO tooling and DAO setups. Been for this 6 months work. Very nice team over at Blockful, focusing on building towards public goods and towards coordination mechanisms. And over the last even shorter amount of time now, I'm working specifically with the staking mechanism for Shutter, together with the team, and I'm quite excited to show you a little bit of that because starting to get attached to it. So it's good that we start putting out to the community and get a shared ownership feeling, because the attachment to a tool is something we want to spread.
Awesome. It's incredible to have you with us, Zeugh. And then I'm just going to pass it back to Lauren to give a quick overview of Shutter, just for those that are new to the community today.
Yeah, so Shutter is basically a general purpose commit and reveal gadget, which has a lot of different applications in different contexts. Basically, it's super useful when you need to commit to certain information, but you don't want it publicly visible so that other people can exploit it. But then you want to make it visible at a certain period or a certain point of time in the future. So a few examples of how that can be used. Number one, the largest use case for this is the prevention of malicious MEV and censorship. The second is with fairness and integrity in DAO voting, basically keeping votes encrypted until the voting period is over. And then the third, which I'm personally really excited about for the future, which we haven't spoken a lot about so far, is gaming. So there are a number of games which require all the players to make moves simultaneously, but obviously they need to be done in a way where other players can't see those moves and take advantage of them. So that's a very quick, non-technical overview of Shutter. And I'll mention one more thing. Shutter Network is the ecosystem and the community which really drives the Shutter technology and the application of Shutter. And it is a very large and diverse ecosystem with lots of different individuals and organizations contributing in different ways. And I'm super excited to have Zeugh from Blockful on the call today. Not just because Blockful is an amazing member of the Shutter network and doing some awesome work, which they're going to provide an update on, but also I think the story of how Zeugh and I got connected is actually, really nice and maybe an example for others to follow in the future. So Zeugh and I got introduced by a mutual friend, and we originally were talking about some of the voting technology that Zeugh was working on and the possibility of integrating Shutter, to make the voting process more fair and higher integrity. And during that call, we learned a couple of things. Number one, we learned that we both share a passion for funding public goods. And number two, we also learned that Zeugh contributes to Blockful, and Blockful does kind of dev house work for a number of leading DAOs. And it was through that we encouraged Blockful to apply for some grants from Shutter DAO 0x36, another member of the Shutter network. Unfortunately, their application was approved, and they've been building with Shutter ever since.
Yeah, and beyond that first touch point, it was very, very nice to get to know more of the community since that first start that we had with the staking mechanism that we'll be bringing now. We've had the chance to contribute on new fronts for Shutter, and I mean, being on the governance space, I had been aware of Shutter because of private voting options for a while, and to get to know more, see that all the MEV part, all the building that goes behind it, been a pleasure so far. I'm one that really likes learning things not just to the surface. Okay, this exists, Shutter exists. That's icing for me, and then getting to know through the DAO like more and more. Been a nice journey so far. I want to give a shout out also to Noah, who's here on the audience with us. That from that first moment we've met, had put you guys in touch, because if inside of Blockful, if it's not for Novak, I guess we'll start a million projects and likely only get to end 10% of them. But it helps us keep track of everything that's going on and be able to actually bring those deliveries. So huge shout out if we have those milestones at this point that I'm going to bring a big part due to this guy. Guys, I'm not sure. I see that we have about staking, liquidity, campaigning, growth strategies. You guys want to go through some other points before, or can I bring about our staking mechanism, go right into that?
I mean, all that sounds really good, but maybe what we can do before we go jump into that, maybe we can just pass it over to Lewis just to provide a quick update on the Shutterized Gnosis Chain. And then we could segue into the update on the staking sneak peek by Zeugh and Blockful. Go ahead, Lewis.
Cool, yeah, thanks. And then afterwards, right, we have some more updates. Just a quick update. It'll be a couple of slides, and then walk through to our new analytics kind of Grafana dashboard, or not a walkthrough, actually just like a little sneak peek. So let me share these slides. If you followed the Shutterized Gnosis Chain mainnet launch 2-3 weeks ago at ECC, you're already aware of sort of the general gist of it, right? So this is the first time that the Shutter encrypted mempool, or the MEV side of things, is live on a mainnet. So it has been live for Snapshot for quite a while, and we have released a testnet for the OP stack, and we had released a testnet for Gnosis Chain on Chiado. But this is the first time that it's live, and it's been a very it's sort of a tough time and a kind of a big effort to get to the mainnet launch, because there's many moving parts. So we have the Gnosis Chain validators having to work in concert with the Shutter Keepers, which is also a decentralized set. So there's 220,000 validators, and there's also a number of keepers, and everything has to work together. Then we have the Nethermind client that integrates the crypto mempool. We have the Shutter Keeper client, and we have the encrypting RPC, and we have 3 teams working together, right? Nethermind and Gnosis. So that was why it was kind of like a pretty monumental effort, which was the teams were able to deliver on time. So deadline was met, but on the other side, there was some stability issues. So there was a sort of keeper connectivity, peer-to-peer connectivity issue, and Nethermind had an issue unrelated to Shutter that they had to downgrade all of their clients, and we had just upgraded, and we just had some of the validators upgraded to the Shutterized version, and then they all downgraded, which obviously then kicked out the Shutter edition, and that's why we currently still have only 5% of all validators on Shutter Shutterized, which the issue with that is it increases your transaction inclusion time. So if only every sort of 20th validator picks up the transaction, then it means it's sort of 20 times as long as it should be. So it's around 100 seconds. And also we had some stability issues. But the good thing is we are making very good progress to fixing everything. We had a new keeper release, which increased or decreased latency to as low as 0.5 seconds of the key generation. So that's actually awesome, because that also kind of shows that in the future, maybe, I mean, for Gnosis Chain is not extremely relevant because they have 5-second transaction times, but let's say if implemented into a rollup, 0.5 second transaction, key generation time means that we can maybe get really down to like very low latency for that low latency sort of rollup case. But in general, we're still moving forward very carefully, conservatively, keeping testing, keep testing it, and that's why we'll need to really prove it out. And Nethermind is careful about upgrading more of the validators to run the Shutterized version. Even though we have many validators indicating interest to run the Shutterized version, we're sort of purposely putting the brakes on until we have a little more confidence and that everything is working fully stable. So the next step is essentially, so I think what we did is we successfully launched on mainnet. So that part of the launch was successful, but what didn't really fully work out is to fully show what's happened. To fully show the potential in that to actually have people use it a lot because of the stability issues and those. And the other thing is it also didn't really show people so if you switch on the shutterized RPC, then your transactions work. If they work, then they just work, right? And there's nothing that indicates that you're using Shutter, which is okay, which is good, right? It's something that's under the hood, and we want to not degrade any user experience. But on the other side, it's very hard for people to see what's under the hood, right? So the next kind of mini release that we're scoping out now is, we call it the engine room, which means people should be kind of standing there in the engine room, sort of in the Star Trek Enterprise and engine room, and looking at the warp cores happening, right? And so that'll be, and the focus will be sort of enhanced stability, or 100% sort of stability, and 100% of transactions will be included. A transaction inclusion time of maximum 50 seconds, which means we have to have at least 10% of validators be shutterized, and then 21 keepers, and this two-pronged dashboard, one sort of public, kind of more global dashboard, to see, for everyone to see what the general state of the system is, and the other part of it is an individual sort of user transaction lifecycle component where people can input their transaction, or see what the transaction is doing in flight, right? When is the key being released for my transaction? So see it in the encrypted space, see it when the keepers release a key, and then see the decrypted transaction and where it is in the block, right? Yeah, we're hoping to have that sort of be released within the next couple of weeks. So to follow up with this new release essentially, and hopefully fixing a bunch of the issues that came out of the mainnet launch, and also adding a lot more visibility into the system. Going forward, we are there's many interesting things we are planning for the Gnosis Chain release, or no, for Shutterized Gnosis Chain. One is obviously to just get to 100% of all validators be shutterized. One would be to add the Aragon implementation. So we have only currently Nethermind, which is the majority client on Gnosis Chain. But ideally, we'd also have Nethermind. So we had a meeting with Paolo from Nethermind, the founder of Nethermind, during ECC, and they are excited to pick this up and work on it, and have offered to dedicate some developer time for this. And then I think the biggest focus of this would be, medium term, would be to add staking and slashing, potentially in this sort of eigenlayer way, where it would be a hybrid, I would say hybrid restaked XDAI on the Gnosis chain potentially, plus SHU tokens that the validators have to stake. And then on the other side, we have, and Zeugh will talk about this later, the Shutter Keepers will also then stake SHU tokens. So so we think, I mean, still early to tell, but maybe for the medium term, we're hoping to make that a focus, staking and slashing, and and then to having a more default RPC integration, having native integration with DEXs and dApps on Gnosis Chain. There will be a dApp node package for keepers that the dApp node team is working on, and more sort of. And more is maybe also like as maybe a placeholder for also saying the way we're building for Gnosis Chain here is more so a showcase than sort of the end goal. So it is the perfect platform to show how it works and that it works in a mainnet with real money. But the goal is and has always been to show other L2s or show L2s and show the Ethereum mainnet and all the transaction sort of supply chain projects there, and everyone who's working on this is that it can work for any L2 or even the Ethereum L1. Yeah? And just as a reminder, if you want to check it out, try it out, this is how you can do it, which means adding the RFEC to use it. So don't recommend actually just adding it like this, but rather to go into the blog post that we published about it, and there's a add to MetaMask button where you just click on it and it should be added to your MetaMask, and then you are set and you can trade. And then we also show this little demo dApp that Gnosis have built. We still have to fully release this yet. I believe the issue there is only works with Rainbow Wallet or something, and not with MetaMask. So and again, caveat: we still have a bunch of those issues and quite long transaction inclusion times. And just a quick shout out: if you are a Gnosis Chain validator, we would love to hear from you. And if you're interested to run the Shutterized version, and if you are if you know any or are a wallet or dApp developer, would be awesome to connect on how to more natively integrate the encrypted mempool and Gnosis Chain. So, and with that, just a quick, and again, this is more like a sneak peek rather than an actual walkthrough. But here we're working on the this dashboard. So here, for example, you see the keepers and their latencies here. Here's another view on this where you'll see the transaction message validation times, peer-to-peer connections. So this is a pretty in-depth sort of view on the keeper connectivity. And then here, this is our work in progress of the more public dashboard, where you'll see the transactions and the when the decryption keys are being released for which slot, and key shares being shared around. So very early work in progress, but essentially once we have all the data and we're working on this observer component, once we have that observer component, we will be able to build very quickly this one global dashboard, which allows anyone to see the overall status, how many validators there are, how many keepers there are, what the status is, when a key is being released in real time, and then also this kind of more individual component of it where anyone can see what's happening to their individual transaction in flight. Yeah. I think. So we do questions at the end, right? Or
yeah, we'll leave questions to the end. This is not live yet. We're looking to go and do an engine release. As Lewis put it, in the future we'll have a dashboard that will be like looking into the warp drive of the Enterprise Starship and seeing exactly kind of how it's working and the movements and components behind it. So we're looking to release that in the future. But for now, we're just getting everything together and moving forward on that. Let me just see if there are any other questions in the chat. I believe that's everything for now. Excellent. So let's go ahead and move on to our next section. I think let's go ahead and have a conversation with Zeugh from Blockful and take a look at his demo for us today. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll incentivize anyone to bring up questions as we go in that case, although questions in the end will also be open just to make sure that as this is MP that we're building and we're halfway through the 3 milestones we have. We have delivered the first one. The second one should be very, very soon, but we're not there yet. So there's things that are definitely lacking on what I'm going to show. This is a sneak peek of something that's about to come. So any doubts, take them before the rest that follows makes no sense for you. So to start this, we'll go very, very broad on what it is that we're building. So Block was Lauren mentioned before. We're a dev house. For most of our time, we've been exclusively providing services for DAOs. We do have our own product brand, but it's something quite new. And in that dynamic, finding problems that challenges that are important to get over to coordination is kind of what makes this passion, right, to be building. And when we saw an idea of working in a staking mechanism, that's definitely down our alley. So what we're working with here is a system where keepers or shoe holders in general and two separate categories can lock their shoe tokens in exchange of getting rewards over time based on those locked shoe tokens. Goal here, there's few. First one that I think is quite important is making sure that keepers are having a stake, right? Having skin in the game. So we're working with a mechanism for keepers to participate in this stake where they have a minimal initial lock amount. They get better rewards for being at that position, but they do go through this process of having skin in the game, showing that they are long-term aligned with the Shutter network community. The way that this works is through two different threads of locking, which I'll bring a bit more on the screen in a moment just to contextualize first. One that we're calling the staking contracts are for keepers, where they can lock their tokens, and after they have a time window where they can't get access to that again. The other one is a delegate contract, where anyone can lock their tokens, provide one of the keepers as the delegate that they are staking or locking to support, that they're saying, okay, I have trusted this one. I'm willing to vouch for this keeper here, and also get rewards out of that they're locking. The benefit, not necessarily the first goal here, but an added benefit that comes with it is removing shoe liquidity from the market, right? I think that everyone that's holding shoe will appreciate when the buying pressure comes by, the selling, the amount of shoe available to be sold is not as high. The prices on that can get better because of the amount of shoe you have locked, or proving skin in the game, getting rewards to the community as that goes. Once you have that locked, you're getting those rewards and benefiting from the pricing also. Both of those contracts work by interacting a rewards distribution contract. That is what is counting how much those rewards for each address should be, allocating those to the right blocking contract. I'll bring a little bit of this to the screen now to show you a little bit better. So this is a bit of what we've been looking at. Can you see my screen now? I think it's canceled for some reason. Well, screen share starts and ends. Let me try another mode.
Yeah, I was trying to
Here,
load.
I'll try full screen. This works better. For some reason, it's not letting me share. I did test this 5 minutes before joining the call in another channel, and now it's not. Let me jump out and come back a second.
All right, intermission
Yeah,
music.
I had to
Go ahead.
I had to refresh to you guys again. You're all frozen for me, yeah. So I think just refreshing makes sense.
Okay, you back, Zeugh?
This will go. I'm back. Trying to bring the screen, hoping it will not crash this time. See. No, for some reason, I'm not able to share my screen here. It just feels it on the moment I start.
Is there a link you could share with me or one of the other callers, and we can put it up on the screen?
I'll bring it here. It's this first one. This is if I can get Discord manages to be quite buggy from time to time, huh? Let me get this one here too. Okay. Yeah, with those three, we should have all I need to show. Can someone share the screen the first one for me?
Loring, are you able to share?
Okay, so this is the thread where we're keeping all the updates before showing exactly where we're at. Just wanted to bring an update to everyone. Lauren, if you can scroll all the way to the last post of that page, that's great. So this is a project that we have measured for a window of time to be developed as we go, and you can see all the details of that in this post in the Shutter network. If you're interested in knowing more of each of those details, all the dashboards that we're using are open on GitHub. Each task, each update is open for everyone to follow with. We've scoped this product, have a little bit more than 2 months. So you can see here on this first table, milestone 1, that is the one we've just delivered, goes a little bit over a month. We're halfway through to delivering a milestone 2 now. So what I'll be showing you here is all of milestone 1 and a little bit of milestone 2. The timeline that we're looking at now is for the milestone 2 to be delivered at the end of the next week. The contracts are ready and being tested, and then we'll be joining the last part of this for getting all those little pieces we built together. I'm bringing that before a little bit as a disclaimer, just because we're going to show you the interface, and it's not all wired already. Fortunately, I cannot just send that link, the interface to you, and you go use it right now, because it's still a little bit to get through there. Can bring the second link, Larry. This second part is the GitHub for the stake contract. I want to explore a little bit of the architecture of what we're doing here with you. It's quite of a short dive, to be honest. You can go to docs. So as I was saying before, this structure is divided in 3 different contracts that are the main point here. This rewards distributor is interacting with the other 2. That is the staking and the delegate contracts. The staking and delegate contracts are pretty similar. They have the the functions of being the interacting of the user all go through either staking if you're a keeper, or delegate. That is delegated staking anyway, but we're just calling it delegate. They are where the user will be interacting to do their stakes, to do their unstakes, to claim the rewards. If you could open the staking architecture, can show a little bit of how that's going to work. So it's nothing much special on the structure. We're coming from ERC4 626 vault, and this functions is what I want to explore a little bit. So those are the owner functions that you can see on screen right now. This is what the DAO will be controlling for each of the contracts. So setting up a lock period and defining how long is the lock time of the stake, setting what is the rewards distributor, as we might want to change that contract over time and not compromise the whole structure. This is changeable here. You can set to add or remove keepers to the list, which changes if they can interact with the staking contract or just with the delegate one. And especially for keepers that use the staking contract, you can set a minimum stake. That's the skin in the game that we want the keepers to have. Can go up a little bit, Lauren. This the keeper functions, or the direct interact functions that users will be doing to use that mechanic, is a stake where you're gonna lock your shoe, and it's gonna be locked for the lock period and generating rewards from the distributor contract, given that they are above, or that you have a previous stake that's above the minimal lock necessary. So if it's your first time staking and you're a keeper, you have to make that stake at least equal to the minimal amount of skin in the game you have to put in there. An unstake function where you'll be burning your shares, right? We're using this S2 for keeping track of that. S2 is a soul-bound, untransferable token that we're just using to keep track of those transactions here and of the staked amounts of each keeper. Or you can just claim your rewards, right? Just get your profit from the amount you have locked. There are some special interactions in case of changing a keeper, right? Once you're no longer a keeper, anyone can call to unstake your shoe from the staking contract, because the staking contract gives different amount of rewards to keepers to make that distinction. You've got skin in the game. You share the rewards amount with other people who have skin in the game. The reward distribution between the two contracts are different. So if you're no longer a keeper for any reason, those stakes that you have can be unstaked. That is saying that. Basically, how this works is that the rewards distribution contract is where we're going to be set we can go to the other architecture one now. Still in the docs, the rewards distribution architecture. So this is where we're going to be having the configurations of how this distribution are going to happen. So the receiver address that's set for one of the contracts, and the emission rate that contract is going to get shoe. So we can say how much shoe per second is going to be rolling through the contracts. And this is where we're going to be holding the shoe that goes distributed. So the rewards contract is only ever interacted by the DAO to fill it up and to set up how it's going to be setting those rewards to the other contracts. So once you make any interaction with delegate or staking, that contract will interact with the rewards contract, will make a new timestamp to update the distribution, get the right amount of tokens to each contract. So at any point, a user there will claim the rewards or unstake their shoe tokens as given the time they are in. This is a short overview of the architecture. Both a bit of the explanation and the step by step. It's all on the DAO forum. We really incentivize all of you to take a read if you have time, to bring your critics, to bring your questions. We're finishing milestone 2 in this next week, and we'll be starting an internal audit phase before we move forward to an audit that's already been approved by the DAO. But all extra pairs of eyes, all that you might catch are very precious to us. Why we like building in the open. There's nothing more powerful than a community to make sure that the things are making sense in there. And Lauren, if you can bring the last link, that's the video. I'd love to show you guys a little bit of how that is going to look when you guys are interacting with that. Just before we go to play, this is already implemented. There's already some fixes that we've seen will be necessary, like that wallet balance is a little bit unaligned and my OCD gets tilted. So there's some fixes that we're already working to make it look better. But the next step on front end is just integrating into the contracts, but everything is fine. Can you press the play for us? So basically that's the view that anyone connecting just gonna have of the dApp, right? Just getting through the app. Let me see if the next version here in the first moments. You can choose to claim your SHU tokens. You're gonna see how much you have, just some slide bars to make the choices of how much you want to get. It feels weird to follow the video instead of share the screen with the dApp, but we do not have it in open access. The video is the best I can do if I can share my screen. But yeah, all of those features that we should bottom right here. This is basically very close to the version of how it look. Basically, you're gonna be able to see your balance, see each of your stakes separately, their status, if they're locked or unlocked, their release date. You have a keepers list down here with the amount of stake that there are behind them. That is their own stakes plus the stakes of people who delegate to them. If you are making a delegate stake, it's on that delegate button on the keepers list that you get the option to lock and direct it towards someone. So we're saying that like this keeper is the one I'm putting my skin in the game behind. This is still in an MVP stage. So at this first version, there's no slashing mechanism. And at this first version, there's also no governance influence. I think those are important points to make clear. We're making it in a format that we believe will be the easiest to upgrade towards including this staking mechanism, this staked SHU at a governance level and at a slashing mechanism. But I'm not sure how that's going to be done in the steps as we see this come to life, really be used by the community first. There might be some changes, but it's already developed with that in mind, the idea of making it possible to connect that staking mechanism into other mechanisms to incentivize good quality participation, to not make sure that your delegate, your staked SHU, your locked SHU is not being fully disconsidered on governance, because might as well at some point choose to have possibility to vote with SHU. So we're building towards making it compatible with that as soon as the DAO decides to take any of those directions.
Okay, great. Thanks for the good overview on that, Zeugh. Very insightful and everything. There was one question from La Joda in our chat. For Shutterized Keepers on Gnosis Chain, staking will be on Gnosis Chain, right?
Yeah, for for now, we're looking at mainnet. We did not at the time of starting the project have Shu at Gnosis. So the whole scope's been developed towards looking at Shu on the original issuance. It should not be a big jump to make the adaptation, but this is the first moment we've had that question. It's a very good question, though. That's a decision to be made. We could make this work on both space, and this first focus is to the original issue asset.
Okay, great. I know LaJoda's typing in here right now. There might be another question, but does anyone have any questions or want to raise their hand? We are also running a little bit short on time, about 12 minutes left, and we have a few more things to go through. But if there's any last questions, we can squeeze another answer or two out. Okay, what we can do is we'll move forward. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm happy to take the questions on the chat too, so we can move forward on that.
Okay. Well, I see another one from LaJoda. So just wants to ask a question about staking, around staking. Maybe Zeugh, is this something you could follow up via the chat, and then maybe we can just continue forward?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so what we're going to do now is we have a number of things to chat about, but now let's go ahead and move on to Loring, where he can share a little bit about the brand refresh that we just did last week.
Okay, we only have 10 minutes left maximum on the call, so I'll make this super short. As many of you saw a few days ago, we publicly announced the Shutter Network brand refresh. It's been something that we've been working on with a third-party agency for a number of months on, and we're super excited about it. The reason why we wanted to do a brand refresh is because Shutter is this crypto infrastructure project. It uses really sophisticated technology, and we love talking about the technology. But we realized at some point that most of the people that will benefit from Shutter or applications of Shutter are not super technology folks. They are either degens who are focused on trading, or DAO members who want to vote, or they're gamers who just want to enjoy the game that they happen to be playing. And so we chose a new look which would really be intuitive and friendly and fun for a wide range of people, not something designed to appeal only to technology folks. So you can see here that we have the old Shutter logo and the new Shutter logo. And the first thing that you'll notice is that although we did incorporate elements of the old Shutter logo, we also introduced this new element of a shield. And that's because we also did a revision of the Shutter brand architecture, which placed more emphasis on the applications of Shutter and the specific projects products where Shutter is applied. So we renamed Rolling Shutter to Shielded Trading, and we renamed Shutter Governance to Shielded Voting. And that way you can see that the shield is used consistently through the logo and also through the naming architecture. We don't have it included here, but in the future, when we have more gaming applications, you'll also see a third color, a very nice blue, introducing or representing shielded gaming. Speaking of colors, we have this color architecture, and Shutter in the past always used this black, white, and gray color scheme, which was really fun to work with, but it didn't provide us as much space or as much contrast as we really wanted. And so in order to expand the space, we introduced, in addition to black and white, blue, red, jade, cyan, and this school bus yellow. We also introduced a world of characters. The hero in this epic journey, or epic battle between fairness and exploitation is Sir Shieldswell. And Sir Shieldswell has two missions here. One, to protect individuals like you and me, but also, number two, to fight for systemic change so that people don't need to worry about these things. They can just go on and enjoy their trading or their voting or their gaming, never have to worry about that. In some ways, I kind of think of Sir Shieldswell as the Gandalf to my Frodo. He's not only there to guide Frodo, on this journey to cast the ring into the fires of Mount Doom, but also there to destroy Sauron and all of the evil which is threatening the Middle Earth. Speaking of evil, we have the personification of direct attacks. So the first one is sandwich attackers, and these represent malicious MEV like front running and sandwich attacks. And we kind of think of these as like a horde of mischievous sandwiches which are constantly sneaking around and bombarding and maneuvering to exploit degens. We also have Richard Wallace the Whale, and this is the personification of large voting whales in DAOs. They're not evil. They just happen to have a lot of wealth and power, and sometimes they do like to kind of use their disproportionate advantage in order to get the outcomes that they would like to see. And then we have this movement, which we're going to be launching in the very near future. And the idea here is that Sir Shieldswell and me and you and the rest of the crypto community can come together to take back crypto against bad actors, against unfair advantages, and against biased systems. And together, we believe that we can triumph over these threats and challenges which currently face crypto. If you have feedback regarding the new branding, logos, colors, and characters, please drop it in the chat box or after the call in the Discord server. This is going to be a continuously evolving brand, so we'll definitely be responsive to the feedback from the community. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Lauren. Really excited about it, guys. We've spent a lot of time working on this, and we're really wanting to build up the branding together and the movement. So we're really looking forward for any thoughts, feedback, and again, names for the sandwiches. But please jump in, share some stuff on the Discord or Twitter as we go. Now, we just have another 4 more minutes, and then we have some more updates on 0x36. Maybe, Lauren, would you want to continue and just share a few of the updates and then pass to Lewis whenever he needs to jump in for anything?
Yeah, happy to do so. I won't go into a lot of detail on any of these points because all of them are currently in the Shutter forum on Discourse, so you can see full information and join the conversation there. But just to highlight a couple of the topics which are currently being discussed and being worked on by the Shutter Network ecosystem. The first is that we are considering a proposal essentially to shut down the SHU USDC pool on Swapper v3 on Gnosis Chain and instead deploy an SHU wrapped XDAI pool. And the reason for that is that although USDC-E is the canonical USDC coin supported by Circle on Gnosis Chain, it's a relatively new introduction and therefore has low liquidity. Look at me, I already started going into too much detail, so I'll go through the rest of these more quickly. We have a discussion about Shutter and trusted encryption environments. This is related to Fortified Shutter via an SGX framework, and this will help strengthen our security. We also have an active temp check on Snapshot. Before this temp check, the DAO approved an RFP for OLAS-powered AI agents, which will drive MEV and transaction ordering simulations on Gnosis Chain. We've received 2 proposals, and so currently there is a temp check to see which proposal the community would like to accept. We also have received a proposal to co-sponsor a grant which would fund the continuation and maintenance of ZeroMEV Services. And that is already being funded in part by our friends over at PowDAO. And this grant proposes that ShutterDAO 0x36 would step up to co-fund that grant. And then last of all, BrainBot has submitted a proposal to ShutterDAO 0x36 for a monthly recurring grant to continue to develop open source software in the context of the roadmap that we've provided. And that includes both a technology component, a research and development component, and also a business and marketing component. So that's an overview of some of the topics being discussed and being worked on by ShutterDAO 0x36. And I encourage you to take a look in the Shutter forum for more information.
Great. So that's everything that we have for today to provide updates to you. And of course, there's always a mountain of more things that we wish we would be able to provide, share a little bit more. We do have the movement that's coming up very shortly. We're just not quite at the point where we're able to share it, but hopefully we'll be able to have that quite soon and to get you more involved as well. But it's been a pleasure chatting with you guys, and I'm super excited to be here to be part of the community. So it's really exciting to see what we're going to be doing next. And thanks so much for all the support and all the advice and just collaboration on this as well. So it's been wonderful overall. And thanks, Zeugh, for so much for joining today. And giving overview of what's been happening with the staking. Looking forward to the next stage.